Coco before Chanel, a woman who remains legendary. Coco Chanel changed the fashion industry with her first black dress in the 1920s. Her family and other designers helped Coco's dream come alive, as her designs are still prominent in women's fashion today. Gabrielle Coco Bonheur Chanel. Born in Semur on August 1883 in the Loire Valley of France. Coco's mother died when she was young of bronchitis. Her father sent her two brothers to work at a farm, and sent Gabrielle and her two sisters to Corrèze, a religious orphanage in central France, to the convent of Aubizine. She was there for 7 years. Gabrielle got her name Coco after being best known to sing Qui Quoi Vu Coco. At 21, Coco met French ex-cavalry and wealthy Herr Etienne and became his mistress. For the following 3 years, she lived with him in his home. He was said to have showered Coco with the rich life and all the diamonds and attire that went with it. In 1908, Coco left Etienne Bazin and had an affair with Boy Capel, one of Etienne's friends. In 1913, she opened her first store with the help of Boy Capel. Coco revolutionized fashion by creating dresses that were loose-fitting, short, showing ankles, took away corsets, had her hair shorter, and also created hats without feathers and birds to make them lighter. She came up with her first design after wearing one of Boy Capel's shirts and started to dress it up. She designed clothes with simple colors like brown, black, cream, red, and white. In 1922, Chanel created perfume No. 5. This topped her success.
Chanel seeks, in her own words, a woman's perfume with a woman's scent. Calls upon Ernest Beau, perfumer to the Tsar. For the first time, a couturier revolutionizes the insular world of perfume by creating in 1921 her own fragrance, the first of its kind. Commanding still more jasmine, the most precious of essences. May rose, Haitian vetiver, ylang ylang, sandalwood, orange blossom, essence of neroli, Brazilian tonka beans.
It was one of the world's most popular fragrances.
From the United States to Japan, the fragrance's fame spreads.
It was popular for its unique scent, which accentuated synthetic components like lemon and accentuates the taste of strawberries. Coco believed, quote, her scent should be as important as her style of dress. It was called No. 5 because it was the first sample Coco chose from Ernest Beau. In 1922, Coco met Pierre Weathermere, a businessman who wanted to take part in No. 5 sales. In 1924, Coco made an agreement with the Weathermere family to help distribute No. 5. They got 20% of the profit. In 1926, Coco creates the black dress, revolutionizes fashion. The Chanel floor dress, the frock that all the world will wear. Quote, black changes the fashion industry. Quote, any customer can have a car painted in any color that he wants, so long as it's black, quote, said by Coco. It is said that black dresses designed by Chanel were inspired by mourning attire. She was a trendsetter. In 1913, Chanel opened her first boutique in Deauville. In 1915, she opened her second store in Biarritz. In 1919, Chanel was registered as a couturier. Coco helped women live freely in her clothing. Her clothing gave women the freedom of movement and comfort while doing so because her clothing was loose enough. Coco also taught women that men don't have to rule the world, and men don't have to be more successful than women. Coco's friend Misha introduced Italy to Coco, and she fell in love. Coco not only designed clothing for women, but also designed costumes for plays and productions. Coco was inspired by the Catholic Church and Romanians. She eventually introduced embroidery on her garments, as her ex-lover Dimitri introduced Romanian culture to her. At the start of World War II, she had an affair with Hans Gunther von Dinkelage, German officer who was in the military since 1920. During World War II, Chanel gained full monetary fortune from her perfumes Chanel and the most successful product Chanel No. 5. Since the director of perfumes, Chanel, the Wertheims were Jewish, Chanel made a petition to German officials to legalize her claim to her own ownership. In the end, the agreement remained as is for the Wertheims to help finance Chanel. In 1945, Chanel moved to Switzerland and returned to Paris in 1954. Quote, "I want to be a part of what happens," end quote, by Coco. On February 5th, Coco had her first fashion show, and the French press teared her apart. Then America embraced Chanel. 5 years later, during the 1950s, Chanel created the famous suit, which consisted of a collarless, braid-trimmed cardigan jacket, slim and a graceful skirt. It was very popular. She even made magnificent costume jewelry worn with sportswear, and it was a huge hit. Her famous suit was worn by every woman, including Elizabeth Taylor, and her black dress was also worn by famous women like Audrey Hepburn. In February 1955, Chanel made the 2.55 bag, which was a quilted handbag that combined leather with a gold chain. Women loved the bag because it allowed their hands to be free. November 23rd, Life magazine writes, quote, "At 71 years old, Gabrielle Chanel brings more than a style but a revolution, and Coco regains her influence." Coco was such a hard worker. She worked all the time. Coco passes away on the only day she didn't work, January 10th, 1971. Quote, "Feminine eternal is forever, defined by the House of Chanel." Karl Lagerfeld, designer and close friend, takes over Chanel. Half a century later, Coco's designs are still going strong, thanks to Karl Lagerfeld, who reinvented and cultivated Chanel's legacy. She forever remains legendary. Coco Chanel, the woman that changed fashion forever.